blackout right here, but I'll still go on with Life Saga TV because I skipped some 2 days in this month and I still have not had time to compensate for that lost time. But I hope that as we close schools, I'll be able to actually compensate for that. So welcome, and thank you so much for always keeping it right here. So what is popping? Tanzania is popping as Suluhu gets embarrassed badly. Kenyans exposing her. Let's just check on that. We'll be running through events quickly because we don't know whether the power will be coming back. But I just don't want to be left back in whatever I'm doing. So let me be checking on this. All right. So some of you will be complaining. I know some people will come here to abuse me and tell me, buy a good camera, as if they know my problem currently. But my problem is just the blackout that is causing me to look like I have a bad camera. Oh, thank you, God. Niambie leo nikufanyie kitu. Ni kitu gani unataka nikufanyie? Leo nikufanyie kitu, yani hata nikusafishe uonge, uvae nguo mpya, ufanye makeup. Unataka hivyo? Ngoja tuende uoge basi kwa ile show ya kanjo pale. Watu nikupeleka sana. Nataka utengeneze. Uvae nguo safi. Lakini huko alafu kutafutie ile unatoka kwa hii street. Huyu yule champi mwenye tumetoka kwa street. Hao warembo walimuona wakaniambia wanataka kumpatia sabuni ya kuoga ili endelee kupendeza na endelee kuglow venye wao wana glow. Unajua hiyo glow kwa mkono. Lotion vizuri. Kama rashi. Unisikie vizuri. Kauke. Wana ambao mnanitazama, nimeingia hapo wapeki, msichana alikuwa anataka akule samaki. Kisha nikapata mheshimiwa akawa na wageni wake pale, na nimemwambia mheshimiwa lazima nikuonyeshe hapa msichana ambaye utanichukulia nikimfanyia rehabilitation na kuwe sawa kweli. Na mheshimiwa, huyu msichana akiwa sawa, nimfanyie rehabilitation, sikumtaki kumfanyia kazi. Mimi nitamleta power back. Atakuwa na sisi hapa. Yes, fanya kazi hapo. Na amepata pale ya kulala. Sasa hivi kumchukulia mahali alale, kesho kumchukulia nyumba ukitulipia rent na deposit ya 6,000 ama ufikishe 10 za mwezi atakuwa na wateja wengine. Basi. Guys, that is Kenyans for you. Actually, Kenyans had to pick this lady from the streets of Nairobi and actually work on her. Now, checking deep into the history of this lady, they discovered this is a Tanzanian lady. Can you imagine? And the way Suluhu has been embarrassing our Kenyans when they go to Tanzania. Nancy Karidi, how are you? Karibu sana. Asante sana. Welcome to my platform. And this is Life Saga. Unraveling the sagas around the world, guys. That's what we do here. So remember, that is a saga about Tanzania. Suluhu has been very harsh on Kenyans. Actually, one of the situations is even the abductions, which was the lowest, and the fact that even the MPs in Tanzania were actually trying to support the fact that Kenyans should be mistreated, which is a bad thing, right? Of course, all along when I was growing up, I knew that Tanzania is one of the best country with best leadership, because we had the history of Nyerere. Yeah, we had the history of Nyerere, and Nyerere is one of the people who used to actually have ujamaa, something to do with humanity. But Suluhu came up and she has wrapped out everything. And therefore, when you look at what Kenyans are doing, they are trying to show humanity, teaching Suluhu that it's good to be human. All right? And I hope that you learned something from this act that has been just shown and you've just watched out on my channel. Thank you so much. Let's proceed to the next aspect. And the next aspect, I want to go to a different country before I come back to Kenya. And of course, that country is Ghana. You saw what happened in Ghana. Yeah, in Ghana, secondary schools, actually there were a lot of death in secondary schools, so that parents are asking for justice and they do not just know whether that justice will be met, you know. Sometimes it's very challenging when parents lose their children in schools and schools are not able to cover up for that or even explain what happened. It is such an injustice that a parent will never forget. If you have been watching documentaries even from Kenya and other different places, we have situations whereby teachers pretend to know so much about kids. And when kids come to ask for permission, they are saying they are unwell. Some teachers, I have literally seen this, guys, because I'm a teacher. Teachers will be like, this one is pretending. This one is just wants to go home and eat well. This one is going for a phone, you know. We have all sorts of excuses because we want to look like we are really a strict and stern profession. But I don't know. I think the role of a teacher is just to enhance what? Let's say enhance values, and also teach the students content, and also to mold them in terms of talents, and maybe make the better citizens for tomorrow. However, there are teachers in schools who look like they know it all. They know everything. They know that when you are actually sick, you are pregnant, even when you are not. I was a victim of this at high school. There is a time a teacher actually implicated me as having a boyfriend when I didn't have any. And she started insinuating that I was not performing well because I had a boyfriend. And that time I never had an idea, even I didn't have a thought about a boyfriend. So I was so annoyed when she asked me about that, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I felt so bad. Now I remember also my sister while in high school. My sister has a big tummy. And while in high school, the teacher started suspecting that she's pregnant. And she had not had any sexual relationship anywhere in the world. And therefore, when I became a teacher, I said, I don't want to be suspecting people's children. Unless I get them in the act, or maybe other students report them on the act, I don't like suspecting students. But there are those teachers automatically will suspect, even they'll try to discourage parents from taking care of their kids, like taking them to hospitals and all that. You know, yeah, I know that some parents are naughty and even kids, but sometimes it's just too much when we suspect and suspect and suspect. Sometimes even there's a student who died in a school in Trans Nzoia. Is it Trans Nzoia or Bungoma County? Actually, because the teachers were insisting the student is pretending. But finally, the student was overwhelmed and could not even eat and died, literally died in school, you know. So those are school sagas that we need to unravel and open up so that parents should also come out sternly. We as parents, we have the right to defend our kids. You know, we have teachers who even overpunish. They overpunish children. They still use corporal punishment, serious corporal punishment. You know, we have that light corporal punishment. It doesn't have any harm. But when you overpunish, have you ever seen a teacher who beats a child? Even 10 strokes. What value does that kind of beating add? You know? And some of these teachers will not beat the child on the butt only. They'll beat even on the head and all over the place. I've ever seen a teacher who has hated my sister while in high school and even could tell me that that kid will fail, you know. I sent pocket money. I was in cost. I sent pocket money to that teacher, and the teacher told me, your sister is so proud, and even this money you should just reverse. And I asked her, okay, this is the first time I'm talking to you. I've just sent pocket money. You are the class teacher. So what is the problem? Then she told me, do you know your sister said whenever she sees me, she feels like she has to puke? And I asked, okay, who told you that? And she told me other students. I told them, okay, when kids are talking to each other, they talk all sorts of things. I'm a teacher, and I know even students talk about me. But I cannot take that personally. Sometimes I have to call that student and advise. But if you now pass that over me and begin telling me you'll reverse the money, that, oh, my sister will fail. But finally, my sister got a B+. A B+. I don't know where that teacher is currently, but I just feel like in schools, we have a lot of sagas, a lot. We have even teachers who favor students who come from rich families, and they look down upon those who come from poor families. They'll not give them phones to call home and all sorts of things. Anyway, let's save that for another day and come to the Ghana story. All right, so in Ghana, there was a recent BBC news from Africa revealing the death of students in secondary schools, and parents were seeking justice. All right, so let's look at this. All right, here is the story.
I decided not to talk to anyone. Who do I live for? Because he was all that I had.
Kevin Moses was full of promise when he started at Achimota High School, but in 2016, he became unwell. His mother tried desperately to reach the school for help.
The first time Kevin went to school, Kevin did not come back. He called that he was not feeling fine. He's been to the school clinic. They've given him brufen. I called, the housemaster never picked my call. I sent messages. He did not reply. Only for him to come and give me an answer the following day that Kevin is fine. That fateful Friday afternoon, I had a call from the housemaster that Kevin has been rushed to Achimota Hospital. Sunday, when I got to the hospital, I was waiting outside. Then they came to tell me that the doctor wanted to see me. He said, we did all we could. We've lost Kevin.
Kevin died of cerebral malaria. He had been in a coma for 2 days.
That was a difficult interview to have. You could tell that she's...
Yeah, so these are the common situations. These are very common situations that happen not just to that parent in Ghana, but also to other parents even in Kenya. So many situations happen. I once was a class teacher in a class whereby a student fell sick. And I was seeing this student is in a critical situation. And I told the nurse, this student needs to go home and go get treatment from a better hospital, because I hear the student has a special condition. The nurse said, no, this girl just pretended. I told her, no, if you're not going to call the mother, I'm going to call the mother. And I did that. So the mother came rushing and told me, yeah, my daughter has a special condition. If she delays, she's gonna die. And I say, thank God, my intuition told me otherwise. So that girl actually was hospitalized at Eldoret. They call it what? Chandaria Hospital in Eldoret for 1 good week. 1 good week before she could come back. And do you know, if you are not a strict parent, or maybe the class teacher is that who takes matters just like that, students can die in school so much. Why? Because there is a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of procedure. The principal will tell you the only person who can call home is the nurse. But the nurses in these schools are not nurses as such. They are just social workers. Social workers who have very little knowledge in medicine. And some of them don't have even intuition or love for care. So when children are sick, they are complaining. Even a student is literally having a stomach problem and they are given Panadol. Can you imagine? So that is what happens. The sagas that happen in school are those. If your child has a special condition, please inform the class teacher, so that some class teachers have a heart. have the golden heart and they'll be the one to save your child. Or else, if you rely on protocol and bureaucracy, your child might die in school and you'll only be called when they have been rushed to hospital. The only thing you'll be told, we tried our best, but we are sorry we have lost your child. Now that is a story for Ghana, but it's not just a Ghanaian story. It happens in Kenya, it happens in South Africa, and all over the place. I know some of you have lost your children or may lose them if you are not careful. Starting from primary boarding schools to day schools and what have you. Children become sick and some teachers insist that they have to be in school. They insist they are cheating, they are pretending, they just want to go home. And at the end of the day, it becomes a critical situation. So it's so annoying because once you lose a child, you'll never get it. Consider that currently parents are not having many kids. You have 2 or 3 kids. So if you lose one, you can imagine. You may not even reverse the situation because maybe you conducted tubal ligation or something like that. So it's a great loss to a parent because I've seen even in Kenya, in several schools whereby children have been lost because of negligence. We call it negligence, you know. And within the school, there is a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of, processes that delay treatment of a child. Sometimes they'll pretend that they are being taken care of in the sick bay. I even feel like this sick bay aspect should be erased from school so that when a child is sick, let them be taken to hospital and be tested. If there is a serious problem, let them be treated. Now you see the case of Ghana. The lady lost the son because of cerebral malaria. Cerebral malaria actually is a serious condition that needs quick attention. But the school was negligent. They gave the boy Brufen. Who does that? Brufen is not even recently when I was sick, when I went for medication, the doctor warned me that I should not take Brufen easily. Brufen is a bad medicine. And I'm wondering because when we go to some other hospitals, they simply prescribe us with that. But the doctor warned me and told me that Brufen has a situation of raising acidity and also causing chest pain. So it's not the best medication currently. Anybody who is listening, you can go research. Diclofenac and Brufen is not the best painkiller. You would rather use any other, paracetamol and many others, but not those two. I hope you heard me. Through Life Saga TV, we inform, we entertain, we also critique and correct. Thank you for listening. Let's move to a different story, just within Ghana as well.
So sad. If I should be here for the next 30 minutes, maybe I will shed tears. Yes.
Back at his house, Joseph narrated to us the turn of events which led to his son's death.
On the 28th of June, it was my birthday. He sent me a message wishing me a birthday, and I also replied. And there and then he said, Daddy, I'm sick. He went to the infirmary. There was nobody there to look after him. Somebody from the school called, and I called him to go and buy medicine for the boy. That was Friday. The medicine didn't go to the guy until Sunday. So the next day, they were writing mock examination until the examination was over. And the guy fell down. His friends called the mother. And I in turn called a security man at the school to send him to the hospital. I called the PA chairman, which is the Parent Teacher Association chairman, that why? Is that how you run your school? He said, no. I said, my boy has been here for the past 3 days, and none of the school authorities has been here.
Theophilus died a few days later from cerebral malaria.
I even had a deal with him that when he passes his final year examination well, I will give him a laptop. So I bought it, placed it here waiting for him. But unfortunately, he's gone.
Both families took legal action. Deal was based on legal advice. The statement further noted that the school continues to be pained by Kevin's death and remains deeply sympathetic to towards his family.
The significance of this judgment is that I think it's a wake-up call to secondary schools to put in policies that would enable them to better manage sick students.
No, I don't think it's a proper even to let the schools manage sick students. The best way is that when a student is sick, let the student be taken for medical treatment in the hospital. Because schools, most schools, even when we go for the activities such as marking of exams, we normally are told we have a specialist here, but you just check around, you don't see like the specialists are really there. And you will find that someone who is attending to you, even as an adult, will simply ask you, how do you feel? Then you say, I'm feeling, I have some headache, I have some what, and they just prescribe to you medicine without tests. So I don't actually believe schools can take care of the sick. Schools are prepared to take care of education, intellectual growth, not medical attention. And therefore, when boarding schools pretend that they are really giving medicine to kids, it's a raw deal. And that is why we are having some students even developing complications, some of them getting amputations, some of them even, some of those who are pregnant dying in the process because they have been waiting for too long. I don't know. This is a saga that has to end. And as we see the narrative of Ghana, it's not just Ghana. It is all over the place. If you're a parent, I think you have a reckoning call. When you hear your child is sick, don't send medicine. Please go for your child, take them to hospital, let them be treated. Because cerebral malaria, for example, among other conditions, they are very serious. And the more you delay, the easier you will lose your child. Would you rather save your moment and have your child die? Would you rather maybe follow bureaucracy and have your child die? I don't think so. So that's a saga that is actually not just happening in Ghana, but even in Kenya it is happening. Sometimes even a child has a serious ache in the pain, the stomach problems or whatever, and they are told, but you are almost closing. Yet there are 3 days to closure. You can imagine sickness erupts in the night and you are supposed to attend to that night. But now, in schools, teachers pretend like they don't have bodies. And then they say, let the child be attended to when they close. And 3 days to closure. Can you imagine? That delay causes a serious problem to kids. You can imagine if it's appendicitis. A child is complaining of stomachache. The teacher is saying you are almost closing and you have 3 days to closure. What happens to this child? They may die. Some child has had an injury maybe in the leg. They are walking and they are limping. They are simply told, can you go to the nurse? The nurse gives a cream or let's say whatever, they apply it on top. But inside there is a fracture. All right. So let's spare that for another day. But as I'm telling you, there is a serious problem. Okay. Away from that, I had another story here to tell. Kalonzo Musyoka on the limelight. Of course, it's not a very good aspect. One of the things that is coming out is that Kalonzo Musyoka has really been straining. Kalonzo Musyoka has been straining with the sickness of the wife for a longest time possible. Okay, so let's just check on something here. He had to come out and reveal something about it. So we are just checking on it. Give me some little moment, I check on it. And meanwhile, he's going to have a reunion with Matiang'i. Of course, you saw yesterday Matiang'i saying he has no problem with collaborating with anybody, and he's ready to forgive Gachagua for saying that he is so in the struggle. Before we get to two more aspects about him. Sometimes you have a video, it disappears when you need it most. But let me see. What is happening? Where is this video? Hey, Kalonzo, where are you? Where are you? Where did he disappear to anyway? It's okay. If I don't see it, I'll just talk about it. But of course, Kalonzo has been struggling with the wife. The wife has been sick. In fact, all of us know that. So that struggle has given him a very hard time, actually. He's into politics, but he has been having a very serious experience. But let's look at this.
Click that subscription button there. And let me say this. Now, Kalonzo Musyoka endorsed Babu for Nairobi governor seat. So it was not easy, or it could not be easy for Sakaja to grant them the access.
Sisters, fellow Kenyans, and it's good that we tell you the truth. Building an opposition or a coalition is a journey of alignment and coming together. We will be together in spite of our differences, not because we don't have differences. We will work on this together. It's a long journey that we are determined to work together. The goal we have is greater than the sum total of each one of us here.
All right. So the moment you saw Matiang'i was actually having a wiper, we call it what? Yeah, on the neck. And that was a clear calling that he has reunited with Kalonzo to work out on the aspect of what? The aspect of opposition. Now today, Gachagua was at Embu town. Let's see this. Gachagua is so funny. Tembeza kiatu. Alright, so Gachagua actually was in Embu town today, and all he was actually selling is one term. He has not yet come up with his initiatives like Kalonzo and Maraga. Alright?
Umeuza watu ya Embu kwa Kasongo. Hospitali haina dawa. Unakuja hapa kuambia watu ya Embu amesha inafanya kazi. Sha inafanya kazi. Umeshindwa kutengeneza barabara. Umeshindwa kusaidia mtu yeyote. Unachukua pesa kwa Kasongo kupatia vijana watupe mali. Wewe Karinda, mimi nilikuja hapa nikakupigia kura. Mliniona? Si nilimwambia mkuchague yeye. Sasa mimi nilimwambia mchague Karinda. Amekuwa msaliti, amekuwa mtu ya mkono ya William Ruto ya kuumiza Waembu na kujaribu kugawanyisha, kuunganisha. Nitembee nitafute makazi wetu, si ndio? Umeona kazi wetu? Umeona? Anaitwa nani? Anaitwa nani? Makazi ni wapenda.
Susan Kimani, hi. All right, so Arambe. Arambe. Hey, Gachagua. Gachagua has actually been in Embu, and he was actually trying to affirm the united opposition. And in his speech, all he is asking for is that cousins should unite to pull up the one-term narrative, all right? So, of course, you understand that Kalonzo has had a lot of challenges in his family. He is training. It's not easy to have a sick family member, and at the same time you battling with political aspects. So it's not easy. That's what I'll say, because having a sick member in a family is already derailing, and politics is not an easy game. You really have to run around, battle, plan, evade, run away from, run towards, all that has to happen. All right? Yeah, so let's just check on this. I just want to see where Kalonzo spoke during that procession at Embu. And of course, Gachagua warned the president, huyo Ruto nitamugonga. I'm like, how will you gonga? Let me listen to the cousin. Eugene.
Na hiyo sababu tunasema one town, sababu kuna jamaa alikuja hapa kwenu. Na akawaomba kura, na kweli watu wa Embu ninyi mlipa kura nyingi sana.
Alright.
Huyo jamaa alipanda mlima yakaingia kwenye State House. Tuko hapa siku ya leo kuwaomba watu wa Embu, sababu hii Embu ni kama Roma. Kule Uingereza wanasema when Rome sneezes, the whole of Europe catches a cold. Embu imekuwa headquarter ya region hii yote. When Embu sneezes, the whole region catches a cold. Embu tunapungana. Sisi hapa hatujui ni nani atakuwa ile rais, lakini tunajua ni nani hafai kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya tena. Anaitwa nani? Kajua majenzi wako hapa Embu, sawa sawa. Wakati kijana wa JB Muturi Eugene
So all right, so Eugene Omalo actually joined Gachagua and and Kalonzo Musyoka in the pool and deal process of cousins. All right. Derek Kaigongi says, I'm back. Welcome, welcome. And stay tuned here. All right. So the fact that Gachagua is actually selling the narrative here, regardless of all that people have been trying to hit. We have Muturi also, Justin Muturi. I don't know whether you heard him speak. Justin Muturi spoke here. Let's just hear something from him.
Inaenda kwa mfuko ya Kakongo. Na alituambia ati bottom up pesa mfukoni. Unajua ndugu yangu Rigidi ametuambia kwamba ati ile alikuwa anasema the bottom up alafu pesa mfukoni, kumbe alikuwa anamulika mfuko yako.
Alikuwa anamulika mfuko wetu. But guys, it was so funny. I remember that time I used to talk about this thing of bottom up. How can be a bottom up? You know, even literally, take your bottom up. Take your bottom up and see how it will look like. Derek Kaigongi is saying 2027 will be a protest vote. We don't care who becomes the president. We only care who should not become. Derek Kaigongi, I hope that you will also care who becomes, because if we only do who does not, we are possibly going to vote for different people and then lose it all. So we should also strategize and see who should become. Very important, because at the end of the day, Ruto will realize that we want him out. Then we will have so many candidates coming out. And therefore, different regions, people will vote for different people just to vote out somebody. And at the end of the day, you divide the votes. I hope people will actually come out and decide later. And I also hope that the opposition will strongly fight together till the end, because if they do that, they'll make our work easier, you know. And I also hope that they'll come up with strategies to improve our lives so that we don't have to keep having the narrative of one term, one term. Instead, we should have a narrative where we are checking on the works. Like tick, we look at education, we give a tick. We look at health, we give a tick. So we want a government that will come in so that all the time as we are ranking manifesto and the work, we can give at least, we say, yeah, they have not reached 100%, but they have done 60%. Let's look at education. Yes, they have not met 100%, but they have at least met 70%. Let's look at this. That is what I would actually wish for. You know, that is what I would actually wish for. Derek Kagongi is saying one is impeached already. We can trust the others in the team. All right. Yeah, we need to. Actually, citizens should try to do virtual sensitization to allow themselves to understand who should be the best candidate, and they push for that narrative. I think if citizens do that, it will be the best interest of citizens, and finally we will blame ourselves even for whatever we have done. But all the time, if we just let them make a decision, we don't want them to make a wrong decision again, you know? Yeah, so let's listen at somebody here. Kalonzo Kenwa Maria, I think he's a very famous musician. I've heard him so many times at Thika Road, that is. I hope it won't bring me a strike. Kenwa Maria. Kenwa Maria. He performs a lot on Mulolongo Way. And where else? Look at Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka is taking it big time. Wherever. Wasemba. All right, so that's Ken Wamaria for you. Of course, you know Ken Wamaria is a very popular musician from Eastern. And Kalonzo Musyoka is taking it not easy, right? Regardless of the hard times back at home. And I just hope that people for once will stop saying this and that and support Kalonzo Musyoka full time. I think we are seeing something coming up, all right? Yeah, so we saw about 50 MPs, yeah? 50 MPs joined the United Opposition rally at Uhuru Park. Can you imagine that? Imagine. Let's see this. That Wiper meeting, delegate meeting, to endorse Kalonzo Musyoka.
Nikisema komboa Kenya, munasema one time. Komboa Kenya! Abu muni hapa mbele. Kwa sababu mimi ni kiongozi na si mchoyo, mimi ningeomba niwapatie mtu aseme jina, constituency na akae. Sawa sawa? Tuanze Parliament Kilome constituency Makone County. Haya basi munipatie wapo na Kalonzo, na Kalonzo.
All right. So those were 50 MPs who joined the United Opposition. So that is actually something that can cause a lot of frustration to the government currently. So Kalonzo, of course, had promised a lot of changes. Yesterday, I did a video on that. If you did not watch it, please go and check on it. And we should keep praying for the wife of Kalonzo Musyoka because she has been sick. No wonder we are not seeing her in the political front, and let's hope for the best. So, of course, on the other side, we have President William Ruto and KANU party leaders, especially Gideon Moi. What is coming on? Bromance. The bromance is going on. So, of course, that is why Gideon did not show up while a lot of people are waiting on him. Let's check on this.
Detailing the events during the high-stakes meeting that saw him withdraw from the Baringo senatorial race. Gideon assuring his supporters that despite the new political arrangement, his KANU party was staying put.
Lakini kaga ino mochi pecho. Msijisifikirie tumekuja kuvunja chama cha KANU. Tumekuja kuweka nguvu kuingiliana na rais.
Derek Ngagi is saying, remove the name Moi and tell me who Gideon is. Gideon is just riding on the back of the father, of course. We know that he has not been anywhere. As much as he wants to stand out in politics, he has nothing. He has oh, that is politics for you. Gideon without Moi, it's a no business. Anyway, that is, I don't know, but I wouldn't tell. You know, in Kenya, it's so funny. Most times we used to say Uhuru without Kenyatta is nothing. But funny enough, Kenyans, I don't know, with their shenanigans, they just brought back Uhuru and branded him. So I don't know. I don't know even what to believe and what to think with Kenyans. Kenyans can just turn one time and go for somebody, even when he did not expect. Yeah, on the other side, Kimani Ichung'wah is still insisting to attack Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka.
So now that we all know,
you know, most times when people are feeling frustrated, they have to attack. And that is politics for you. I want you to look at this, guys.
Unajua Kimani Ichung'wah ya kiongozi wetu wa bunge, si ni mtu anapenda watu ya Tharaka-Nithi. Si mumeona ametetea sisi sana huyo Ichung'wah,
the soprano guy.
Sasa kama ile iko hapa Chogoria, soko inaendelea haiendelei? Si inaendelea. Hiyo soko ikikamilika, mpango ni kuwa mama mboga, kijana wa bodaboda ako hapa, mzee ako hapo wa hapa Chogoria, ndiye atapata nafasi kupata stall ama mahali pa kufanyia biashara kwa ile soko, na awe na pesa ya kufanyia biashara.
Inatoka wapi?
Hata ukiletea Kindiki vita, wewe ndio uko na vita, sio yeye. Kweli si kweli?
I'm like, where will that money come from? These people are still selling the narrative of Mama Mboga and Boda Boda. I'm like, you have not learned. Since that time you lied about wheelbarrow, Mama Mboga, pikipiki yenye inapaa, gari yenye haitumii mafuta. Pikipiki yenye inaenda bila kuendeshwa, guys. And these people are still selling the same narrative. I wish they would use a different narrative to sell whatever they have. You know? Like, it's so shaming that people would still come back to you. Mtu akwambia anakupenda, aende apotee, tena arudi akwambia anakupenda. Unamtema kwa uso, because what is that? You are not just there waiting, right? You are not just there waiting as a dustbin. You know dustbins wait. You can go, throw your rubbish, go, forget about it, and come back and throw your rubbish again. But when it comes to citizens, if they are sober and they have their brains, you cannot keep joking around with their minds. Kwani ni kuku wanasahau. Wanasahau haraka sana mambo ambayo uliwaahidi na hukufanya. So now they have to actually... Hey, and this guy Atwoli is another funny one. Did you hear what he said? He said that... Let's listen to this.
Sasa nimesema kwa haraka kwa ajili nataka nirudi nataka nirudi kwa haraka, na kutoka hapa ni mbali. Mimi nataka kushukuru serikali kwa kazi mzuri imefanya.
Atuoli.
Chini ya uongozi wa William Samoei Ruto. Samoei amefanya kazi na bidii sana kama kijana. Na amekimbia sana. Na ndio kwa sababu mimi nataka wengine wafanya biashara, wa siasa, wengine ni wakora, wengine wanaunda vyama kwa kufanya kazi ya brokerage, wengine ni extortionists. Mwana siasa wa upinzani katika nchi hii ni mmoja tu, Raila Amolo Odinga,
na ameingia kwa serikali
na kwa usawa na kusimama sawa na kutetea. Na sisemi hivyo ni hongwe, mimi si hongwi. Kitu kikiwa kibaya mimi nitasema hiki ni kibaya.
So Atuoli actually has now turned the narrative and is saying that he's not being bribed, but the rest of the opposition are extortionists. They are business people, they are brokers and whatever it is. But the reality is that even him as Atuoli is a business person and broker or entrepreneur in politics. Because he normally jumps from Luciola tree to Mahamia is the same as Luciola. Oh no. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so he normally jumps from the Mahamia tree to Zizigium guinensis, where the fruits are, when he realizes that the Mahamia lutea is not going to favor him that time, you know? Yeah, so these are the politics of Kenya, and sometimes they are very, 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 very annoying. Mbona nani na crack ama ni mimi nasikia? Yeah, so guys, as Atuoli continues to speak for Raila Odinga, where is Raila Odinga? Tell us. Tell us, if you are telling us the only politician or opposition in Kenya is Raila Odinga, bring him to us. Let him now speak for himself. Why are you speaking for him? Yeah, so when you are saying that the police must remain to be cruel, that is what Atuoli said, that the police must continue to be cruel. And the fact that Ruto will actually get his vote as early as 10 a.m. I'm like, okay, you know the plans because you are in the vehicle. Why not? He is in the car. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, so these are the politics of Kenya actually. And there is something I was supposed to check on. I'm remembering that there is one more thing I was supposed to talk about before I close. I've talked about Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya on Kalonzo matter, the deal there, the aspect of current politics, and I think there was something else. What was that? Let me just check here, I'll know. And remember, Mutula Kalonzo has also joined the issue. Mutula Kilonzo, not Kalonzo. Yeah, I think we will end here. I don't have to strain and walk beyond this because those are the news I aim to talk about, and I think I've explored. But if you have a question, you can raise it. If you have news that are new, you know, there are sagas that happen behind the camera. You can actually also communicate to me, let me know, and talk about it on this channel, because this channel actually focuses on telling the truth. So get connected to me, get to my Gmail, or email messyprika@yahoo.com and let me know from you what I need to talk about. There are incidences that happen, poor driving, maybe some hidden agendas and all that. Let me know and talk about it. Bye bye. Thank you for your support. Continue subscribing to the channel, like the videos, comment and share.